Hello everybody, Geek here, and this is video 2. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to break these videos up into parts, which I did, so if it looks like I'm recording them all at the same time because I'm wearing the same clothes or whatever, that's because I did. I actually recorded them back to back, so. I'm not on fire, I'm a smoker, and I'm actually smoking, so if you see smoke, that's why. Okay, so my next video is, again, Gamestop, and I had mentioned in my last video that I didn't jump the GameStop, the boycott GameStop bandwagon, until it had happened to me. So, what happened was, this actually happened before the Black Ops pre-order, and absolute honest to God, Black Ops 2 was the last game I ever bought at GameStop. And I only pre-ordered Black Ops 2 because I was going to get Nintendo 2025. And if I had not been given the promise of that, I would have never bought that game at GameStop. But then if you watch that video, you'll see what happened as a result of pre-ordering that game at GameStop. So what happened was this was what happened first, and after this I really should have known better, but I know with pre-orders it's done a little bit differently, so I felt I would be safe. But what I want to show you here is I want to show you a Wii game case. Okay, this is Donkey Kong Country, and I'm not talking about this game. I'm talking about the case that it's in. It's a plastic case, okay, that opens and it holds the book on one side and the disc on the other. Okay, this case, not the game itself, but the case that it's in. I had convinced my husband at one time that it would be a really great idea for us to have Mario Kart. Being a Nintendo fan that I am and loving Mario and, Yoshi the way I do, I felt that I needed this game and my life was not complete without it. And so, the game itself at GameStop is $53. That's new. And I didn't really care if I had a new game or if I had a used game. I didn't care. I didn't really need the box kit that came with the wheel, because I don't know if any of you have ever used the Wii wheel for that, but it really is no. So I don't need that, and I could buy that at the dollar store, and it works just the same. So I went ahead and convinced my husband, and we all went to GameStop. And I went to the Wii, and I start, surveying the wall of Wii games, and I'm just like, just looking for that game, looking for the, binding, looking for the cover. Didn't see any of the box sets, didn't see any of them. None of it. And what was really odd was if you bought the box set with the wheel, it was the same price as if you walked in and just bought the game new. So you could either get this for $53 or you could get a whole box set, get a wheel for $53. So, I didn't find the game, but I knew they had it because I had called. And so I walked up to the counter and I asked the guy, I said, hey, I'm looking for Mario Kart for Wii. First thing, the guy looked at me like I was on crack. Like, he gave me this look like, really? The Wii? Yeah. The Wii. So, he was like, hold on, and he punches it in his computer, and he looks on the screen and he says, oh, we have 2 copies of it. We don't have a used copy of it. And I said, I don't care if it's new or used, I just want the game. And so I was like, even if it's new, because with GameStop policies, if you buy a new game, and for whatever reason that game doesn't work, once you got it home and opened it and put it in your system, played it, for whatever reason that game does not work, you cannot return it. Like, you can't just walk in with your receipt the next day and say, hey, listen, this game didn't work, can I get my money back? Nope. They are either going to exchange it for the same title, or they're going to give you a credit to buy something in their store. Now, if you go in and you buy a used game, pre-owned game, and you take it home and for whatever reason it doesn't work, and you take your receipt and your game back the next day and say, hey, this didn't work, can I return it and get my money? Well, sure. Because all of their profit comes from used games. Because when they sell a new game, like the manufacturers of the game, the developers of the game, and those people get like a huge percentage of that sale. And GameStop gets like this much. Which is why GameStop pushes you to buy used games. Which is why you don't get 10% off new games with your little reward power-up plan card. You get 10% off used games. Because they make 100% of that profit. So when he's looking in the computer and he sees, oh, well, I only have 2 new copies. And when I said, I don't care, I want the game, I'll buy it new. I didn't have any intentions on returning it. I didn't have any intentions on, selling it back for, $5 after I just paid $53 for it. I didn't have any of these intentions. I wanted the game. So he grabs another box, I think it was a PS3 box, and he's like, oh, well, I got back anyway, let me check out the back. On his way to the back door, the Wii display is, like, right there, like, where all the Wii games are. And so he stops and he's looking around, like, I've already looked here. He goes, oh, well, you might have missed it. I was like, weren't you standing... I stood here for, like, 15 minutes, physically going through each game. I was sitting on the floor, down at floor level, looking at these games, like physically touching each of the games. I didn't miss it. So after he made me feel like an idiot, he goes out back. He's out there for, I want to say, 5 minutes, or it was like 5 minutes, because we had actually gone to look at PS3 games. Okay, so we were over in the PS3 section, because I have a PS3 and I have a Wii. And we were over in the PS3 section checking out those games. And the guy comes back out of the back, and I saw him. So I went to go up and approach him, and he's holding one of those Wii collector's boxes with the wheel, okay? And that box, of course, is the same price as a new game. So I didn't care if I had to buy it like that, or if I had to buy it in just the case. I wanted the game. So the guy was like, I have this, okay? And he hands me this box, so I look at it and I just kind of, peruse, like I just kind of looked it over real quick. And the box didn't look tampered with. It looked brand new, looked unopened, and I was like, okay. So I go up to the counter, and he said, ironically, this is the only copy I have. He said, I don't know why it says I have 2, but this is the only one I have in the back. And I was like, okay. So I go up to the counter and I put the box on the counter, and he rings me up to $53. And I pay the guy and I leave, and I'm all happy. I'm like, so I get home and I tear open the box. I'm like, it's a kid on Christmas, right? And I don't just pull items gingerly out. I tip the box. Dump my stuff out. And my Wii wheel fell out. And my manual fell out. And then something fell out that caught my eye. And why wouldn't it? And I picked it up and I went, you have got to be kidding me. And I reached into the box and I'm pulling out the component, like the cardboard inserts in the box. I'm pulling them out. And I'm like shaking an empty box and I'm going, like, my brain exploded again. What fell out wasn't a case. Was not a Mario Kart case. It was not one of these wrapped in plastic nicely. that said, you know, Mario Kart for Wii with Mario and Luigi on the front racing. Did not have that. This yellow envelope is what fell out of my game. Fell out of that box. This envelope actually came from another game that I bought used. So if you buy used games from Gamestop, you'll notice they go to their drawer in the back and they'll flip through and they have oodles of these. Okay, oodles of these little envelopes. These yellow envelopes, green envelopes, blue envelopes, white envelopes, doesn't matter. They've got hundreds of these envelopes, thousands of them even, and they all have these stickers on them. Okay, and this was for my open season game that I bought used, and it was pre-owned. The game was pre-owned. So the game came in this. And they actually gave me the display case that it was in. Or that like, it was one of those, it wasn't a display case, like it didn't have the insert for the game in it. It was like the generic GameStop insert. But the game was used, and it came in this. That I understand. I get that. I totally understand. You know, I get it. The game has already been used, and then somebody had it, and they probably played it for a few months, decided they didn't want it, they sold it to you, and now you're reselling it. Okay, that's great, wonderful. And they put pre-owned on it. When that envelope fell out of my Mario Kart game that I just paid $53 for, brand new, the little sticker up here said new. And the disc was in this. This flimsy ass piece of paper. My $53 disc was in this. And it was like in the car, when I put the game in the back seat of the car, it was like moving around in the box. It was, you could like shake the box and hear the game moving around in the box. And what was messed up about it was the back of it wasn't sealed. It was like this. The flap was inside just like this. And the way the game was sitting, it could have just easily fallen out. Okay, because this flap wasn't right. It could have just easily fallen out of this of the paper. And it was like just free floating inside the box. I thought it was like the manual or like a booklet. It was this. Now, had the game been in this, you know, yeah, you can hear the manual in here when you shake it, right? But the game is locked in. It's locked in here. See, so you're not, and it's protected, and if this had been just free floating around in the box, it wouldn't have been such a big deal because I mean this is pretty durable. Okay, like you can throw this out a 3-story window and the game's gonna be fine. It's durable. I wouldn't suggest running it over with a, you know, tractor trailer truck, but I'm just saying. And in one of these, I was so mad. So I pulled the disc out of the paper crap, and if you do it right, you can pull it out to where you don't touch the disc. And you, I mean, like, you literally, it's a trick. You've got to, like, put your finger, I'll show you. I'll use Donkey Kong to show you. As much as I hate putting my discs in these things, I will show you what I had to do. Okay. Okay, so this is how the disc was. It was in there like this. And I don't know if you can see this, but you see the inside of the flap here? That's how it was on the game. Okay, so you look at this, you see Mario Kart Wii. And this is what the top of it looked like. Okay, so that disc can easily just, well now it can't because I bent it, but it can easily just slide out. See? And suddenly now you've got a loose CD, you know, banging around inside a box. Who knows how many times this box has been moved, used, stored, thrown, whatever. Okay, so in order to get it out without touching it, okay, because normally people just be like, and pull it out, right? Without touching the disc, you have to open it. You have to put your hand down on the side of the graphic, not the CD side, the graphic side. and then you have to pull it with your finger. Okay? And you just watched me pull this disc out of that case without touching the disc. Okay? Because I pulled it out just like this. My thumb here. Okay? When I pulled my Mario Kart Wii game out of the envelope and I looked at the disc, there was smudges all over the disc. There were scratches in the disc. There was a gouge on one side of the disc, and I honestly did not think it would play. I was like really hesitant, and I was like, oh man, we really gotta check this out. So I stick it into the Wii. Thankfully it did play. The game played. There was, you know, a couple of instances where it kind of skipped a little bit, but it only did that once or twice that I remember. I don't have the game anymore, but again, that was my last video. And but anyway, I was furious. I was absolutely furious. So what do? I call up the GameStop where I bought the disc, and I'm like, I want to speak to your manager. And the guy gets on the phone, and he, you know, if you ask to speak to a manager of GameStop, they're pretty much just going to hand it off to somebody else that's standing there. Whether they're a manager or not, they're just going to hand it off. Or the guy's going to be like, I'm the manager, what can I do? Like, there's 100 Chiefs and no Indians in the GameStop. So this guy gets on the phone and he's like, I'm the manager, how can I help you? And I'm like, I am very, very unhappy right now. And the guy was like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, what can I do to help you? And I said, well, I went in there this afternoon and I bought a copy of Mario Kart for Wii. And he was like, oh, that's a great game. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I was like, so the gentleman looks it up on the computer because I didn't see any copies of it in the back at the Wii display. And he goes, okay. So I asked the gentleman, because I had called before I came down, and you said you had some copies. Okay? I said, so I had the gentleman look it up on the computer, and he said that they had 2 copies, and that they were both new. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll buy it new. I don't care. I just want the game. And so the guy goes out back into the back, because he even stopped and looked at the wall display and didn't see the case. Or didn't see the box, didn't see anything Mario Kart. Same as me. And I said, so he goes out into the back, and he's out there for like 5 minutes, and he comes back out, and he's got the box, the Mario Kart for Wii, in the box with the wheel. And the guy was like, okay. And he said that was the only one they had back there, so he was confused as to why his computer was telling him that they had more. Because he was under the impression that there were 2 new copies back there. And I had told him that I didn't need the wheel. I didn't want the wheel. If that was the only copy you had, okay, fine, I'll buy the box. But I just don't need that wheel. I just need the game. And the guy was like, alright. And he goes, well, what was the problem? And I said, when I got home, and I broke the seal on the tape on the box, and I dumped out the contents, I didn't have a case for my game. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, this was an otherwise unopened product. And when I got it home, it had been opened. There was no case for the game. My game was in a flimsy yellow envelope with a new sticker on it. I said, I paid $53 for this game and I have no way to protect this disc. And I said, and on top of that, the disc has scratches in it. It has smudge marks on it. I said it was improperly handled prior to me buying it. And I said, I want to know how the hell you can sell this to me as a new disc. It's not new. It's been opened. It's been handled. And it has marks proving this. Well, because I had already taken it home and opened it, there was no way of proving unless I got forensic people to come in and test fingerprints. So I was just kind of like, you know, ugh. The guy literally, the guy told me that, and I said, why are you opening new games? I was like, why are you selling it as new if you open it? And he goes, oh, well, we have a million reasons for why we open it. And that is a direct quote from the manager of GameStop. They have a million reasons for why they open new games and can continue to sell them as new games. And whether you know it or not, GameStop employees, a week before the game is released, they can open those games, take them home, and play them. Which is why when you get brand new games, and you're thinking, oh, it's a brand new game, yeah, and you get it, and it's like this. It's all open, there's no plastic on it, and you've got fingerprints on your disc. They've probably taken it home, played the crap out of it, and then brought it back. Okay? They do this, and it's a known fact that they do this. I'm not the only one that knows it. 100 million other people know it. So your game could have been played by an employee and their friends and passed around amongst everybody. So check your games. Okay? Then he says to me that I am welcome to go into that store and steal it and take a Mario Kart case off their wall. And just walk in and take it. Because that's what a lot of people do. Because when you buy new games at GameStop, they come in these. And people don't like those. People want these. So they go back into GameStop and they steal these. Because GameStop is selling them these. If they would not open the game and put the on the shelf, there wouldn't be a need for people to steal them. He said that probably what happened was is my case was open to be used as a display. I have reason to believe that the companies who are manufacturing these games probably send you oodles of empty cases for that purpose. Or at least a few of them for that purpose. And meanwhile, why do you need to use these as a display? Why can't you just get the inserts from the manufacturer? Why can't you just call up the manufacturer and say, hey, I need display pieces. I need people to be able to see the back of the game. I need people to be able to see the cover of the game. Is there any way that you can send me empty game cases or even just the inserts that come in? I mean, I have seen numerous videos of dumpster diving at GameStop where people have pulled these paper inserts that go in that are in these games, like these, not the books, but these, the paper, the advertisement, this, where they have pulled these out of dumpsters. Okay, so why are you throwing those away? Because you have hundreds of millions of freaking like GameStop cases. I know you do because I bought a game that you had in one. And you have this generic GameStop thing. Oh look, it's Mario Kart Wii, but it's got like a picture of a girl in a car. And the name of it's typed on it is kind of stupid. And then on the back it says, get reward points for da 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 da. This whole GameStop insert. You have hundreds of these cases in your store. Why don't you take those crappy ass bull crap things out of those and put the nice inserts in? Why are you throwing them away? Oh, that's right, because you can just open up another game. Meanwhile, consumers are going in there and they're buying these open games at new prices and getting screwed. Screwed. And I can't for the life of me figure out why people are still justifying going to this store. I can't. I can't. If you are still shopping, you're part of the friggin' problem. And that's my point. Okay? Go to Best Buy and buy it brand new in plastic in its case. They don't open their games. And it's the same price. Go to Walmart. Go to Kmart, go to Target, go to, any of these big box stores. Go to Newberry Comics, go to FYE, Amazon. The only store that sells video games, that opens new games and sells them as new is GameStop. And how they've managed to get away with that? Because people keep buying the crap. Okay? You're not buying a new game, you're buying a used game. Because the minute that seal is broken, it's used. And I don't care if a GameStop manager or a GameStop employee or GameStop corporate headquarters, big head honcho, CEO busted the seal on that game. At that point, it is used. And they should not be getting top dollar for a game that they busted a seal on. Because anywhere else, if the seal is busted on that game, you're going to get a discount. If you go in, if you go into Walmart, okay, and there's a game in the lock case. I'm not saying the games that they have out, okay, because typically, I mean, those games have seals on them, but they're out, you can pick them up, you can hold them. So if, you accidentally rip the seal, that's one thing. And sliding them in and out of those bins that they put them in, that's going to happen, okay? But I'm talking about a brand new game, high-profile game, $60 game, okay? And it's in that lock case. And it's up on display, and it's in that lock case, and it's got the little thing that says, $59.99. Black Ops 2. We'll use this as an example. Say, Black Ops 2, $59.99. Okay, and it's sitting in that case, right? And you say to the person, hey, I would really like that copy of Black Ops 2. No, alright. So they unlock the case, open the door, and they pull that copy out. Okay? They hand it to you. Close the door on the shelf. Now, say you're looking at it. And when they pull it out, this is what you see. Okay, there's no plastic on it. No, it's not wrapped. And you open it, and you're like, oh, well, it's opened, right? And it's open. They would then take that game, open the display again, get you one that's not open, hand it to you, and that game would go into returns. Or you could barter with them. Well, I don't want to say barter, but you could haggle with them to get it for less because it's open. Like at a clearance price. So you would end up paying like $25 because there's no seal. What I don't understand is why GameStop can get away with it, and why people continue to allow them to. It baffles me. It baffles me. But I don't shop there anymore, and you shouldn't either. I mean, that's common consensus right there. Is just don't shop at GameStop. Anyway, that's the conclusion of this video, and I'm hoping you're enjoying these, and I'm hoping to get more up later on. I'm actually going to do another one tonight before I go to bed, so yeah, thank you for watching, and check out the links in the description. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, go check out my website, and have a good night.